All right, welcome back. I'm Dan Lukowitz.
And I'm Zach Reisinger.
And together we're the co-creators of the CRE Pro Course.
The CRE Pro Course, baby. It's the best course out there. How you doing, Dan?
Right. Hey, doing great. No complaints. Busy as ever. Things are great. And yeah, that's it.
Very good. I heard today's episode is all about social media, how brokers are going to be able to leverage social media in order to get more listings, how to lease and sell more properties this year. And we've got some really great guests lined up for everybody. Very excited about this. And some of you may know Cachet from last week, and we're really excited to have her back. We had some great feedback from everybody, and they just wanted more Cachet. So we're gonna do a crowd pleaser and go ahead and bring her back on. And then we've got another next level mastermind. I would call him a funnelholic genius, but we'll see how he does. I'm sure he's going to do fine. And I'm going to go ahead and stick the link here into our LinkedIn group. Anybody who's in the group, it's an AMA, Ask Me Anything. So any questions you have about commercial real estate, about deals, about anything, it's an AMA for not only us, but for absolutely for everybody else who's also a CRE pro or thinking about getting into commercial real estate. Dan, tell us a little bit more about what you're working on right now, and I'll drop this into the group.
Yeah, just super busy using. Yeah. So utilizing everything that we learn about and teach about in the CRE Pro Course, been able to just really take it to the next level. And I closed 2 quick service restaurant transactions yesterday. Buyer was a buyer that bought another quick service restaurant sale leaseback of mine earlier in the month. They just closed on 2 more 1031 properties. Yesterday, we're closing another one in 2 weeks. I just listed a Dollar General today, 2 medical office buildings last week, a portfolio of 4 dollar stores earlier last week, and it's just been nonstop, man.
That sounds like it. Well, what do you attribute this success to? I saw you had a Mercy One up as well.
Yeah, those I already got 8 offers, and we're going under contract. So it's a heck of a market right now, Zach. I just attribute it to, sticking to the program, man, running with what we teach and, those tried and true things. That's the beauty here, Zach, is that you and I have been in the industry for a long time. We know what works, we know what doesn't work, and we really compile that all into the CRE Pro Course. So that's it. I follow the playbook, man. Simple as that.
I am having a difficulty posting here, Dan. Are you able to see that you're bringing people in now, or that this is actually going?
Yeah,
live?
I can bring Cheyenne. I don't know if he's set up yet.
Okay. Our friend's Dotine here. Let's see. Tried to drop that in. Looks like it's posting fine now. Okay, never mind. We're good. Okay, cool. Yeah, good to go. So let us know a little bit more about the Mercy One. What did you do in particular on that? Did it involve social media? Because I know that's primarily what we're talking about today.
Yeah, totally. I mean, let's just kind of backtrack a little bit. So sold an $11.65 million Mercy One property about 2 months ago, and quickly reached out did exactly what we talk about at the end of the CRE Pro Course, which is, we believe that the closing is just the beginning, right? So I took that property. I took my same marketing flyer that I used to market the property. I reached out to every single Mercy One property owner in the entire country and started getting new listings that way. At the same time, I obviously, have been leveraging my relationship with my seller. And I essentially took 2 properties off market and put them in front of a few clients. We couldn't get exactly to the number we needed to get to. And this happens to me time and time again. At that point, I spoke with my client. I said, hey, listen, we can get to the number you want to get at, but we need full market exposure. He agreed. And within probably 48 hours, we had, offers at and above asking price. So, really just leverage those same skills that we teach about inside the course. And, this is now going to be the 3rd Mercy One deal that I'll have sold for him this year. And, just really happy about it.
Very cool. So what's going on with the course? What are you doing right now that's killing it inside the course? I know you're doing a lot of one-on-one training. You're doing mentorship. We've got a great price announcement as well. Do you want to go ahead and let them know a little bit more about that? And I'll put it in the comments as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, a lot of members of the course love what they've been through so far. They love the content and they're saying they want more. So they've signed up for one-on-one, consulting. We meet every week one-on-one over Zoom, and they're just crushing it, man. We're building lists, we're databasing for tenants, we're getting on cold calls, we're building proposals, and we're winning listings. So really, it's exactly what we want to be doing. And it's exactly what the course is designed for. And people are just so happy that they can not only benefit from the course, but they can take it to the next level and have someone to actually get them through and do those deals and get to those 5- and 6-figure commissions.
So let me ask you on that, Dan. So we had this question last week by a brokerage that actually invited or that signed up their team. Why do we need extra work? Why is the one-on-one mentorship worth it? Or why are people using one-on-one mentorship, particularly in the terms of social media we're going to talk about today, but also just for deal structure, underwriting, all of that. What not does a course lack, but why is there a need for just that one next level, next step inside of commercial real estate?
Yeah, good question. Because the course gives you that general, well-rounded education, teaching you everything you need to know to be a top commercial real estate broker, going through all of the aspects, the databasing, the cold calling, the representation agreements, purchase and sale agreements, letters of intent, marketing, database management, pipeline management, escrow, closing, remarketing, all that good stuff, right? Woo. It shows you everything. And at the same time, afterwards, right, these participants are so hungry for those deals. They want someone to sit there and make those cold calls with them. They want real, live, on the fly feedback, right, about their cold calling techniques, about their email templates, about their marketing. And, at the same time, it's really an art, Zach, as you know, to price out a property. And these individuals are employing us to mentor them, to help them learn how to put a cap rate on a property, how to talk to a seller, how to take things, through every aspect and every step and then get to those closings. And at the end of the day, Zach, it's always about value, right? That's what we say, provide value and everything else follows. So individuals that feel that what they're paying for provides tremendous value because it's going to get them to those 5- and 6-figure commission checks.
Well, then, so Dan, how often do you end up meeting with various members? Like, how often are we doing the consulting aspect, and then
Usually
what does that really provide?
1 to 2 times a week, an hour at a time. And really, the cool thing, Zach, is that we design the program based on the individual's needs. So some people want once a week, some people want twice a week, and we're very flexible. As an FYI, we do have the one and only Shah Hassan here available. Not sure if you want me to bring him in yet, or we should wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Shah Hassan is a next level mastermind. It's how Dan and I know each other. I see there are other next level masterminders in the room right now. We are very pleased to bring Shah in. Sean is one of the, I think, for the most advanced, I would say, in the social dynamics of Facebook. He is able to get down in the nitty gritty and to pinpoint exactly who we're talking about when we're trying to outbound, when we're trying to make sure that we're known for what we do, how we do it. And then mostly just targeting via Facebook, via LinkedIn, and any other social channels. You want to make sure that you're spending those ad dollars if you are, or even organically. You want to make sure you're targeting somebody who values what you're trying to portray, right? That's the whole issue with advertising in the past. We as brokers have put up billboards. We've tried, bus stops. We've tried whatever else, blasting marketing flyers all over the place. Well, that's great, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're getting the right value for the right people. And as you know, in this course, if you provide value, everything else follows. So I believe Shah Hassan is one of the guys that I know that most highly articulates that inside of his messaging, and he's able to do it in a way that we as brokers are able to benefit from his knowledge. So yeah, really excited about Shah being here today.
Zach, Dan, thanks for having me on.
What's up, man?
Not much, man. Congrats, Dan, on the recent sale. For those of you who don't know, Dan actually broke a $1 per square foot record in the Detroit metro area for a retail property. Congrats on that, by the way. That was a big deal.
Hey, so Sean, I gave you a little bit of an intro, but I wanted to have you introduce yourself a little bit. I know that not only are you a soon to be a practicing lawyer, but also have a great interest in not only real estate, but the ability for real estate professionals like Dan and myself, in order to get our, as well as all of our CRE pros, to get your name in front of the right people at the right time, and do it at a cost-controlled method. It's easy to get out of control in spending in Facebook ads, and you and I have done that as well. Sometimes it's trial and error, but other times, you want to make sure you're using your marketing dollars efficiently One of those ways is Facebook. Another one might be LinkedIn. What is your background in that? What is your interest in that? And then what is sort of some of the outlooks that you have in terms of social media and engagement for CRE brokers or those that are trying to get into the business, or really any business people? What would you say?
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. So I'm actually a student. I'm studying law, and I'm also studying real estate at the University of San Diego. Throughout my journey in commercial real estate, I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of people, brokers. I've had the pleasure of meeting capital raisers, operators as well. And one of the common issues that I found with people that are in the business is, trying to attract more leads. And I felt that in many ways, a lot of the folks that are in the business, especially real estate, I find that there's still a lot of archaic methods behind the traditional marketing. A lot of people are still relying on very much old school forms of marketing, such as going into in-person networking, relying on, very generic forms of advertising like newspapers. And for some reason, when the pandemic happened, I think that was like the impetus for me to figure out, okay, how can a professional in real estate continue to generate leads in an environment where all traditional means of marketing has been cut off? So that's what sort of brought me down the pathway of understanding funnel building, Facebook ads, and in general social media marketing, because I still think that it's something that brokers and capital raisers and so many commercial real estate professionals are underutilizing. Whereas I think the folks in the residential space, I think they're doing a better job.
Agreed.
But I think we in the CRE space, we're still a little bit behind. And I think in terms of what I want to bring to the table or how I want to add value is just, be able to help people build a foundation for being able to understand modern marketing and why they should consider Facebook ads or social media marketing the same way that you guys have embraced it and you guys have grown your own businesses respectively.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to talk a little bit more, sort of do a cross interview between you and Dan, because I will admittedly tell you that Dan not only leads the course or leads the module inside of the course for LinkedIn, because one of the reasons is because of the reason that we're here today, which is LinkedIn Live. And he's been granted a license for that because he's an active participant. I can tell you this firsthand, that Dan spends a lot of time engaging meaningfully with his I call them Dan fans, but also just like, anybody that reaches out to him, he's more than welcome to give his time and provide value. And when he does that, it has to do with not only the comments, following up on the comments. A lot of us are more inclined to just like post and just say, okay, it's out there now, I did my duty for the day. But that's just the start for Dan. And it is just like he was saying inside of the course. It's, sometimes it's not the action, it's the reaction, and the reaction to that reaction that actually it means something. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. So here's what I want to say. Like I had an episode of my show last week. Somebody asked me, give me an example of how social media is impacting your business, right? Because I get it all the time. They say, hey, Dan, I know you've got 13,000 followers on LinkedIn. You're very active, but like, what does it do for your bottom line? I'm going to give you an example right now. I have 10 listings. Okay. 5 of those listings came from social media. One of them came from a podcast. Somebody reached out. They said, Dan, heard you on a podcast. Love the content. I'm sorry, 6 of the listings. One of them came from being on a podcast. Love the content. Here's a property up for sale. Can you list it? Great. The other one, I had a developer reach out saying, and I never met this guy in my life, still haven't ever spoken with him on the phone. He said, hey, Dan, saw your content on LinkedIn. Love what you're doing. I've got a portfolio of 4 dollar stores. Will you sell them for me? Okay, great. Another one, this was, I thought, a kind of clever idea, a clever hack on LinkedIn. So 13,000 followers, right? But very hard for me to know who is who, right? Where are those investors that are going to be listing property? And you know what? I'm just going to put it all out there. This is what I did to get a listing. I said,
"You're sure you're ready to give all your secrets away?" All right, man.
Whatever. It's all good.
All right. Secrets.
Here's a little trick. I said, you know what? 13,000 followers. Where are those investors? How do I just like press a button and pull them out? So here's what I did. Okay. And I hope nobody's offended that this was the purpose of the post. But I did this a couple days ago as well, just to kind of do it again. And I'm going to get more listings out of it as well. So I made a post, made a poll, right? The poll got thousands and thousands of views, right? I said, tell us what types of properties you invest in. Single tenant net lease, multi-tenant, industrial, medical office, right? And I probably got 150 votes. Over the next day, all I did was I reached out to each and every person, thanked them for engaging, and I said, tell me a little bit about the properties that you own. Boom, got a developer. He said, you know what? I develop Dollar Generals. I've got one I want to sell. Will you list it for me? Boom, simple post, simple listing, coming on the market in a couple days.
So let me flip that over to you, Shaw. And one of the things that this is a social engineering trick that you would do for sure. It's Dan is either learning from you or you guys have a very similar mind. What would you say is one of the most easy wins for a syndicator or a commercial real estate broker to leverage using Facebook or LinkedIn? How can they do something today in order to either start running ads or do it organically like Dan is saying? But I'm thinking more in terms of the things that you help other next level masterminders do in order to get their syndication in front of more people, let them know what they do. Just give them a high level before they figure out if they're actually an accredited investor or not, or otherwise. How do they let somebody know I'm in mobile home parks or I'm in multifamily? What would you say is a quick tip for that?
First off, I just wanted to comment on Dan on the survey. That's a great idea. I was listening to that. I'm like, wow, that's a really smart idea. So for anyone's listening, that's one thing that you can do. Another thing another strategy that might be useful is to actually think of your avatar and identify
what is an avatar. Can you give a high? I mean, again, as you were saying, commercial real estate agents and brokers tend to be a little bit behind in terms of their direct engagement because we just put a marketing flyer out there and people want it. So what's an avatar and how does that matter?
Yeah, so an avatar is essentially a profile of your ideal customer or your ideal client, right? So you want to be able to identify with precision who is this person, where do they live, how old are they, what are their short-term goals, what are their long-term goals, what are their values, their challenges, their pain points, what problems do they have, what solutions can you provide, what do they feel or believe, what outcome do they want, what result are they looking for, how can you provide that outcome and result that they're looking for. So a simple framework that anyone can, a simple framework that you can use to actually think about how to frame or position yourself as a broker is, think of your ideal person that you're trying to go after, think of the problem that they're having, think about what action they can take to get a certain result. So that could be call you, that could be sign up for my ebook, that could be sign up for a webinar, right? So yeah. And the reason you want them to take the action is because you can allow you essentially, by taking this action, you're ensuring an outcome or a result, and that result is directly speaking to their problem. Okay. And by taking that action, you can help them achieve a desired result by explaining what you can do for them. So in the case of Dan, he's like, it could be a valuation report. It could be, connecting him with other brokers that maybe other brokers that may specialize in a property type that he may not necessarily know very well. But the 4 pillars that you want to establish are, you want your prospect to actually desire change, and that desire to change needs to be stronger than their desire to stay the same. So in the case of a seller,
they need to take an action, right? We're trying to motivate them to take an action. It's just like we do in sales. We're trying to get them to not do nothing, right? Do something is the motivation point. Okay, so get them to do something, right? To take an action.
Right. Second would be, you need to build trust with this prospect, right? So you have to be able to resonate with the audience. So for example, if your audience is, let's say women between the ages of 45 and 55, you're not going to use the same language that you would use when speaking to a millennial, for example, right? Yeah. So you have to speak their language. You have to make them feel comfortable with you, and that's very important. Another way you can build trust is through testimonials or going on other people's podcasts. For example, if there's someone that is very respected in the industry, joining their podcasts and having that association is a way for people to build trust. And that's why podcasts have become so popular nowadays, because of the fact that it allows you to see who's associating with who, and you can get a quick idea of what kind of circles people are hanging around. So that's another way of building trust and also building credibility.
Let me ask you one question on that before you move to the fourth one. So Dan and I advocate this regularly, and this is part of the social media module. And I'll give away a little quick tip. I'm not going to give you everything, guys, but I'll give you a little quick tip. So what Dan says frequently is one of the aspects is figure out not only who you want to be, but who is in the same circle as you are, right? So that could be a podcast. It could be whoever you're trying to be. And then some of the steps that I'll have Dan go through in a second is like how to not only befriend them, but like make sure that they know that you're on equal playing field. And as you said, Shab, maybe that's in a different geographic region. Maybe they deal in a different asset class. Whatever it is, you guys can then work on talking to each other about, what you do and who, what's working right now. But I have a question on that for you, Shaw, is how does somebody find out what the other people are that follow that person? So if you really like, I don't know, Barry Wolf, for example, right? Big social media following in Dan's field. How do you find out who else is actively engaged with Barry Wolf? And how do you help yourself while not hurting Barry, for example?
So the question is, how do you help yourself?
How do you find out who those people are that are following or that are like in a similar field, right? Or a similar, like of similar interest. And then from there, how do you work with them in order to expand your network, right? Beyond your 10 or 15 people that inside of your same industry, because you guys probably all know each other. I mean, if you think about our next level mastermind, we're all connected to mostly the same people. That's why you see a lot of the same people in the same podcast. How do you expand your network beyond that to maybe open yourself up to more viable customers or clients or prospects?
That's a really good question, and I'll just give an anecdotal story of how I was able to, for example, expand my reach. One of the things that I did was I used to write articles on industrial real estate. And through writing these articles, what happened was that I would actually have people approach me for industrial real estate deals. Mm-hmm. And the reason those articles provided value to the people who read them. So you guys have been harping on this for a long time, but always find ways to give value. Always find ways to, give something without any expectation of having someone return the favor, right? That's a really important element of relationship building, is be someone that's willing to give. So I did that in the form of writing articles. Some people may find that writing articles isn't necessarily something they're comfortable with. Maybe they prefer video or podcasts.
But that's part number 2, and I'll have you get to the fourth one. But that's number 2, where you're validating not only yourself, but you're providing value. But you're saying, look, I'm a knowledgeable resource in this area. If you have questions, reach out to me. Happy to help. Happy to provide value. And if it so turns out that you could use my services, great. Let's do that. If not, I can connect you to the right person who can, because this is my world, and I know those people already. You don't have to go forge those relationships. So that's sort of like the number 2 of, and the fourth one is what?
The fourth one is validate. For example, validate your value. And the reason I say that is sometimes when people, they see free, like for example, they see a free lead magnet, they're automatically suspicious because they just think, oh crap, like I'm just gonna give my email. And
what's a lead mag? Just so we know all the terms. The lead magnet is what?
A lead magnet is any sort of free piece of content that a prospect would put in exchange for an email. So sometimes what happens is that prospects may feel weary about giving away their email for content, because in the past they may have, they may have had a bad experience with it. They may have been hard sold on something. So you want to validate, for example, if you're giving away something for free, validate, explain why this content is free. You can just, that's a really important part of any sort of funnel building activity, is explain why something is free and be very honest about it, right? Just say, this is free because this is how I connect with other like-minded individuals. It's a great way to build my network, right? Don't try to hide anything. Be transparent about why you're giving something away. So that's the fourth aspect. And by doing so, you're building your credibility, because at the end of the day, credibility and trust are the key motivators behind why someone would provide value in any offering or any service that you provide.
So I'll give you a great example, and I want to further articulate what you mean by a funnel to some extent, because it's one of the things that we teach inside the course, which is email sequencing, which has to do with outbounding to an audience that has opted into your email list, finds value in what you're doing. Maybe that comes through a lead magnet, like you said. They see something on Facebook or LinkedIn that says 6 steps to increasing your deal flow and hitting 6-digit commission checks this year. So you provide that first maybe you provide one at a time, maybe you provide all 6 at the same time, but you know that audience has opted in and said, yes, I would like to receive more emails. And then maybe every week you follow up with a newsletter, or you follow up with an email, making an offer. One of the things that you have helped us do is we have now set up for CRE Pro Course, available at creprocourse.com. We have now set up a incremental week over week, where we're sending out one of the modules, or at least part of the module. There are 26 modules in our course, so it's a lot of information. But each week we're focusing in on a specific module, and that module then we give away that part of it, anyways, to show our members or show our people who might be interested in the course what it is, that it's professionally done, and so on. Because if not, they don't know, it's behind the veil. So one of those things is we create what you just said, which is a funnel, and that funnel is helping. And I believe all of this, and I think Dan would agree, that as you create a funnel, what you're really doing, and that's essentially taking a wide net, casting it, and then like getting down. It's not trying to target in on somebody. It's providing value to the people who see the most value in it, right? Like maybe initially everybody wants to make 6 figures, but your specialty is down here. So you dwindled down to this point, provided value to this point, and then at that point, then they're ready to buy, and they're asking you to buy, as opposed to the section I teach, which is cold calling, picking up the call and go until you finally pick up somebody on the phone, and then having the right thing to say. And maybe they don't even need your product. So, or maybe they don't even need your asset class or whatever it is. They're not in the market today. So instead, reversing it, right? Using social media, as you said, to start that lead magnet, using your avatar to drill down until you finally get to that last section. And when you do, then you're providing value, and you've provided it the whole time. So you've validated yourself. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, well said, 100%. And, as we're talking about this, we have a special guest in the waiting room. Should I bring her in?
I think we should bring her in.
Cachet, how you doing?
Hey, how you guys?
Holy moly, how are you?
Good, how are you?
You're making us all look bad. Look at that. Come on. All right. This is Shah and Cachet we have here. Both are social media icons, and both of whom we look to for not only CRE Pro Course, but as brokers and agents in commercial real estate. Some of you may remember Cachet from last week. She has Cachet Digital Marketing, comes from a real estate background, and is now providing value to her clients. We invited her back on because she got such a huge raving review from our fans, and everybody said we need more Cachet. So we brought her back on to drop some more knowledge bombs. Cachet, what's going on in your world, and what would you like to talk about today, and provide some value here?
Sure. I don't know where you guys were at, but I guess we could just talk about how social media is hot these days. If that's
absolutely. Let me give you a high level summary and tell you a little bit about Shah, just to recap. So Shah is a next level mastermind with us. He has a thorough knowledge in funnel building as well as lead magnets. We're talking about lead magnets in terms of putting a lead magnet onto Facebook or LinkedIn, whether it's organic through your own posts or a paid search through an avatar, using an avatar, and taking that and delivering value with a lead funnel. In your term, or in social media wise, can you tell us a little bit more about how you instruct or you help your clients when they're trying to target the right market? We call it an avatar. Shah and I regularly use the word avatar, but your customer, your ideal customer. How do you help identify that? And then how do you provide value on a recurring basis to validate your understanding and knowledge of that topic?
Okay, sure. In order to identify them, it's a
Uh-oh. Dan, we're down one.
All right, and then there were 3. So let's see if we can get her back in.
Shah, we'll see if we can get her back in. But if Shah, if you have any insight into that, once you have identified your target market and you're providing value to them, how do you get feedback from them in terms of social media, in terms of like what they, other than the great trick that tip, I'll say, that Dan used before, how do you suggest using things like social media, which is really not a norm in commercial real estate? How would you use that to better serve, I would say, your clients and let people know what you do and how you do it.
Yeah, so I'll give an example that one developer I know out in Western Canada did. What he actually did is that he sent an email, so similar to what Dan did. It wasn't necessarily a survey, but he sent an email to his mailing list, and he says, "Hey, I'm putting together a new video on." He does YouTube videos. He's like,
Okay.
"I'm putting together a new video on YouTube, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like, was there anything that I can help you guys out?" And people actually respond to that, and they'd say, "Oh, we're looking to learn more about capital raising or development or etc." And just by asking people what they want through, or in this case, it was his mailing list, he actually got some really good responses, and he made some very good content, which allowed him to grow his coaching program. So let
me ask you about that. So a fellow next level masterminder, Adapia Dierico, was on Hunter's show, I think, last week, and she was talking about how more people are using video than ever before. In what you've seen through versus like you said you were a copy editor, and now a lot of people are doing video, like very short form video. I know that's working for us in particular. What would you suggest to somebody who's just trying to get started or try to get, start building their audience, let's say? Would you say go with a podcast, go with a video, or would you say go with whatever medium, seems to work at the time for that person?
It depends on the person. Some people just naturally feel more comfortable in front of the video. Some people naturally feel more comfortable without the video. Yeah. So one of the benefits of a podcast, because we started our own podcast, and we've noticed that your ability as a podcast. Yeah. So
how can they find you? I'm sorry to interrupt you, and we'll put it in the show notes here. How do they get in touch with you, or how do they access your podcast? What's it called?
Purpose Driven Wealth. It's going to be launching in August.
Purpose Driven Wealth. Okay.
Yeah, check that out. But one of the things about the podcast is that podcasting has a lot to do. Podcasting is really about having a good conversation and getting it down to an audio recording. I feel like that's what the best podcasts. They're not really as scripted. They feel more natural. They're more conversational in nature. So if you're someone that's just very talkative, you enjoy meeting people, a podcast would be a great medium. If you're someone maybe a little bit more reserved, let's say maybe you don't necessarily enjoy, or you prefer rather just recording yourself in front of a camera for 30 seconds or a minute, then uploading it, then video might be a better medium. That being said, I do believe both of them are really effective. Ideally, you want to do both. Videos, in my experience, a fellow next level masterminder, Fletcher Wheaton, he's absolutely killing it with the videos. Okay. One of the things that he did was that he added subtitles to his videos, and it's actually made a huge difference, because I think a very large percentage of videos are actually watched without subtitles. They're watched with the audio off. So having subtitles is actually really useful.
That's a great tip.
I think one of the advantages of videos is that you can start with 30 seconds to a minute long. So it's a very easy way to get started. Podcasts tend to be a little bit, they tend to be higher budget. You got to have more, you need to have a team to edit it. You need to have you need to have guests, you need to do outreach. So I'd say a podcast is a bigger commitment, but for those who are actually really dedicated to the industry, I would recommend the podcast route. But if you're looking to get a quick start, pull out your phone, make a 30-second, 1-minute video talking about something that you feel is important, something that you saw, something that you're noticing, or something you believe will impact your market or your asset class. That's an easy way to get started. And if you do that, even just like once a week, that's a very low effort way to actually put yourself out there and build credibility. Because
we got one of the premier podcasters right next to us here, Dan. What would you say? What was your evolution in that, and what was your? I mean, I know that I work with you on a daily basis, and you don't have to be super technical in order to get a podcast going. Did you start off, Dan, with just a voice podcast, or did you start out with Streamcast right away?
Yeah. So what I did was I said, I want to leverage other people's network and let them push me out there. So I made it a point of speaking on 3 to 4 podcasts a week. And I just mentioned earlier in this live event that, I have a listing right now that came from somebody else's podcast. So
how did you get those initially? How did you contact those 3 or 4 people? If you want to get started today and you don't want to start your own podcast, as Shaw said, it could be expensive, could be technically difficult.
Well, first of all,
how would you suggest doing that?
Reach out to me and I'll make introductions. I do this for people all the time. I'll make introductions to people I've spoken with and people who have great shows. That's how I got started. And really, I was doing a live podcast in the studio, a streamcast actually with audio and video. And I went in there And as soon as I walked out, the guy who owned the studio came out, you know him, Paul, and he said, dude, you need your own show. And I started thinking about it. I said, you know what? It's great to be able to be on other people's shows, but let me be able to control the content, right? Let me bring other experts. And this is something that I really firmly believe in about social media, is that you have the ability to be an expert by association, okay? And this is what we were talking about before. When you engage with other people's content, you got a nice professional profile, nice professional photo, and you're actually adding value. You're now an expert by association. You now have a stage with some other incredible minds and an incredibly successful individual in your industry. So it's really an awesome opportunity.
So I think you answered my question there from before, which is, you don't need to necessarily outbound to the people who might be reading the stream or might be like engaged with the other like-minded or like similar industry people. As long as you're providing a good insight and good comments, in that case, you're at that point, like you're becoming validated and they're reaching out to you. Same sort of thing. I want to just give one hook there to Paul at NRM Studios. If you have any questions about starting your own podcast, DM Dan. We've got a great guy for you, and we want to give him big ups because these are the guys that produce the course, and we get accolades every day of people who are like, this production is amazing. We're very happy with what the quality is that we're getting in terms of the production. So that's video and streamcasting and podcasting. As Shaw said, it could be a little bit complex if you're just trying it on your own for the first time. If you want to get some professional advice, talk to Dan and he'll connect you with Paul at NRM Studios.
Yep.
Shaw, let me ask you, are you doing your own editing on your podcast? And then if so, are you also doing how are you getting in front of most people in August?
Yeah, so what we're actually doing is that we're outsourcing the production because honestly, our time is not best spent, figuring out how to splice certain audio clips. And quite frankly, anyone who's in the brokerage business, their time is not best spent, doing the production themselves. Unless you have a training, for example, in audio production, I wouldn't recommend it. In terms of getting it out to the most people, one of the things that we're going to do is that we have a preview episode. And what we do with our podcast, or what we're planning to do, is that we actually use the podcast as a means for making video content. So we record everything on video, and we splice and dice clips from the podcast that we really like, and then we post those on LinkedIn. And I think we're planning also on going on Instagram, but I think LinkedIn is just a good place to get started. So for those of you who, let's say, want to have a little hack, you can use clips of your podcast as videos and then upload those onto LinkedIn. And that's a great way of having video content, having the podcast, but not necessarily having to record two separate.
Do you have a background image then? Is that what you're saying? You have a background image to
we have
to make a video?
Yeah, we have a branded green screen. We have a branded green screen that we're using to record the podcast.
Oh, you're saying still record video, but okay, and then I get put up the podcast with the video. Okay, great. That's a great tip.
Yeah, and you just splice and dice the clips, and then voila. I mean, from one episode, I think we had 19 pieces of content. It was a long episode, it was an hour-long conversation, but we figured out that we can make 19 pieces of content from a 1-hour podcast. So
holy moly!
Yeah,
that's fantastic. I mean, so you guys are pre-recording many of your episodes and then coming out with it in August?
Yeah, that's the plan. We were going to pre-record a lot of the episodes. I've created timestamps, so I actually take the time and I go through it because I find that, if I look over the video and I can come up with little snippets of where the good content is, from there you get a video editor to splice and dice it, and you can post it onto social media. And just doing that, you'll have 2 weeks worth of content from a 1-hour conversation.
So as you may know, and this is a little tip and trick for LinkedIn, that LinkedIn prioritizes video over just audio or over just article, that is the highest form for them because it gets the most engagement. So if you're trying to increase your exposure to other people, to industry leaders, the best way to do that on LinkedIn and probably Facebook as well is to have that video content. If you can stream live, great. If you don't have that yet, fair enough. Jump on and do what Shaw is saying, cut out little tidbits. Either talk about what you're passionate about in terms of business, what your expertise is, or just short. What'd you say, Shaw? 30 seconds to a minute, clips, or longer. What would you say?
It depends. Sometimes we have really good answers that could be 2 or 3 minutes long. We just want the quality to be as good as possible, and we want there to be as much value as possible. So
yeah, it is about the algorithm. I hate to say it that way because it's like we don't want to get it more complicated than it has to be in commercial real estate. We're just really dipping our toe in. Unless you're like Dan and you're really prolific in it, most people are just starting. Like my father doesn't have LinkedIn, never needed a LinkedIn. Dan, do you want to jump on there?
I actually want to bring in a good friend, John Vincent. John is an EXP commercial real estate sensation and a friend of mine. We're working on some deals together. John, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dan. How's everybody?
Hey, John, how are you? Good. This is Shah Hassan, and we're talking a little bit about social media. But we're also just talking about commercial real estate or real estate in general. What are some of the tips and tricks that you're working on right now, or that you don't give them all away, of course. I mean, I got it. You got a business to run, but what's something that our viewers can learn from you today that will allow them to close more deals, to lease more properties, and to get in front of more clients in 2021, 2022?
Yeah, sure. First step is to follow Dan on all his social media platforms and try to mimic as much as what he does as possible.
Holy moly. You're paying this guy, Dan. I think that's the case, man.
It's worth it.
The second step for me is always come from a point of adding value, and how can you help, and how can you live
what is providing value and helping people? What would you say is like just an insight? We try to advocate for that as well, but I'm sure it means something to everybody, or something different to everybody. What would you say is something you do to provide value to your longtime clients now?
For me, it's about pretending I'm Cupid and playing matchmaker. So,
okay.
I don't have the skill level of many of the top professionals in this industry, but what I'm good at and what I aspire to be great at is taking somebody who is great at one thing and matching them with an opportunity in which they would be a perfect fit for, and just playing connect the dots as much as I can and as often as I can, and just hopefully creating something that isn't there.
Well, let me ask you that in terms of that, John. I've found in my career that it depends. Like, the better salesman is the one that listens. Obviously, I'm not great at that all the time, but if you ask more questions, you find out what someone's working on. They'll tell you more about what they're working on, and then you have the ability to connect the dots. How do you find out more about what your clients are working, like maybe past clients or somebody a prospect that you're working with? How do you get them to really open up and tell you more about what they're really trying to do?
You just ask, man. You just ask. You said, what's going on? What's going on with you? I mean, I think if you come into the conversation with not just, hey, this is all about business, what's going on with business, but you come into the conversation as a human being and as a person,
sure.
And you learn about them, and you can connect. There's a million ways to connect with somebody. And if you have a conversation with somebody, it might start out with one intent, and that might change 16 times over the course of the conversation. You realize, holy cow, the more we peel back the layers of this onion in our conversation, we have a lot in common. There's a lot of things that we could do together. Geez, who do you know? What else are you working on? And just ask open-ended questions and stay heads up and keep approaching that conversation from a value add standpoint, as opposed to what can I get out of this conversation? It's what can I give to this conversation?
We have a member of the CRE Pro Course that was on a while back, and he said, I take my prospects or anybody really out to lunch, and I make sure that not only do I pay, but that we don't talk about business for the first lunch. We're just getting to know each other. We're just doing the first dance. And should we decide to work with each other, like to work with each other, maybe second or third meeting is then like, okay, let's now talk about business. Let's not boring stuff, but like, let me get to know you first and make sure that it's a good relationship to begin with, because we all want to do business with people we like. People want to do business with us if they like us, and it's easier to go that extra mile. John, I've heard about you, I know about you, and I know that you do go the extra mile for your clients, and it's easier to do that when you deeply care about them and that you really take an interest in them and their lives, and you're willing to put that extra 2 or 3 hours in at night in order to get the deal closed the next day. So I think it's important to know your clients on a one-on-one basis. What do you think, Shah? Is that?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point that John brought up. I mean, it's a relationship-based business, right? And even funnels, I like to think of funnels as it's just a relationship-building process, right? I mean, throughout the funnel, I mean, your goal at every step should be how can I add the most value to whoever my potential prospect is, right? I mean, it's really a strategy in which you transform a cold prospect who doesn't know you or trust you into someone that actually looks forward to doing repeat business with you and referring you to others. So a funnel is really just a series of touch points, kind of like, what you guys have discussed already. It may be the beginning, it may be the middle, or maybe the end. But really, it's just about how can you take a person that doesn't know you or trust you and have that person, be willing to vouch for you and refer you to other people. And
I do want to extend. I like that what you said there, Shah. And one of the things that I think about is, are people happy when you call them? Are they trying to get to that phone and like turn it on when they see that you're calling, or are they trying to avoid your conversation or your call? It's much easier when you like somebody in order to have them pick up the call. So I 100% agree with you on that. And you're right, delivering value over funnel. I mean, you just got to make sure that you are delivering value. You're not trying to just constantly sell to somebody, and you're actually taking an active interest in what they're trying to do. Sometimes that's the end game, right? A lot of times the questions that John was saying there was like, you're trying to find out why, right? The why. There's the 5 why test of the Japanese Toyota company. They keep asking why and why and why until you get to the root cause of something or the root issue. Somebody may want a lower price for something, or they may want to pay, whatever in a different terms. Well, ask them why, right? Ask them what the motivation is behind it and how can you help them achieve their goal if you can. So I think that's 100% right. John, what area of business do you focus in on most? What's your niche right now? And then what do you see coming up here in the next few months or next year?
So traditionally, medical office has been my niche over 16 years. I've specialized heavily in that. Lately, it's been a little bit all over the place. I'm still getting my feet underneath me. The world has kind of opened up to me, literally. Working on some overseas stuff that's pretty exciting right now. I'm also, I joined a team where I'm doing a lot of industrial tenant rep currently.
Okay.
But it's pretty cool because I'm realizing what an avenue opener that is. You call on these owners and brokers who are the landlords of all these warehouses or shopping centers, and they might have the space for you, they might not. But guess what? Guess what they're looking to do? They're looking to buy more inventory. So if you get a little sense of what their buy box is, all of a sudden you're just working with a buyer. And guess what? They're not always looking to act as a broker. If they're purchasing something, a lot of them are happy to work as principals. So if you can now start sourcing some off-market opportunities and bring them to the table, happy day
if they're comfortable with an asset class, I completely agree with you, and I think Dan would agree here as well. He often inside of the course and just in general will advocate for if somebody is buying a certain type of asset, let's say a medical office, there's a high probability that not only do they own other medical offices, that they may be looking to buy in other places. They're very comfortable in that asset class. So those are perfect people to reach out to, making sure you stay in touch with them. But I also want to say kudos and commend you. One of the things we say in the course is that you're not confined to a specific area. I mean, you're coming out of EXP into the commercial side, and that both sides of the business, I would imagine. Yes. In that case, you go from being a hyper-specific, neighborhood-specific real estate agent, and you actually get into international when you're in commercial. So Dan advocates for I'm not geographically bound, and we usually just say United States, but we're looking at it here. We're talking about international now. So if you're looking for a career in international real estate or international business, this is a fantastic opportunity.
This is it.
Team, good to see you.
This is it, and I look forward to taking your course. I haven't done it yet. I'm planning on. I'm going on vacation the end of this month. When I come back, I want to tee that up.
Sweet.
I do want to tell you there though. It is available 24/7, 365, any platform, anywhere in the world. You can view this on vacation, my friend. It is like vacation to listen to me sometimes.
I'm going to be chilling on vacation.
All right,
calls,
I'm sure
I'll be reaching out. but for the most part, I'm going to be relaxing with the family. But when I come back, it's all business and ready to rock and roll. And like you said, the fact that it's globally available is exciting, and the fact that our company works on a global platform and is rapidly expanding that global footprint is super exciting. It's opened up a whole new world for me, where thinking as big as possible has become the new norm. And
Mr. Worldwide,
why
Mr.
not?
Worldwide too.
That's it. That's it.
Let me just highlight something that we really advocate inside the course is that you have the ability now to spend more time with your friends and family, go on more vacations, and enjoy your life more. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You grind. I know you grind, John, and I know it's very, we put some stressful time in. Negotiations are a lot bit harder inside of commercial than they maybe were in residential or in another field.
Sure.
But it's work hard, play hard. And so when you have time with your family, you can do this business from anywhere in the world, or you can take time off and spend it with the friends and family, people you love. So that's why I advocate for people who haven't had a vacation in a long time, or, don't get to live their own schedule, don't get to make the money that they want to make. One of the easiest ways to do that is this is a 100% commission job in most cases. So if you feel like you're not being paid what you want to be paid or should be paid, this is a great opportunity. We negotiate our own rate.
Right.
So that's part of the negotiation. So
sure.
if you don't think you're making hourly what you want to make hourly or salary wise, well, the world is your oyster. And we talked about this last week in our yacht. We were on the front of Yahoo Finance, and we had Cachet Davis. And one of the things that she highlighted was, look, if you don't feel that as a woman, as a broker, or as an agent or in another field, you're not making what you want to make, the women are doing fantastic in this industry because they bring in all of these different aspects that haven't traditionally been here. It's a fantastic opportunity to really carve your own way and make your own, I would say we do kill, but really that's what it is. If you work, you make money in this business.
Yep.
And some of these women, they work. Sometimes they outwork me. So I'll give that up. So
love it. Power to the ladies out there.
Power to the ladies.
That's great.
I like it, man. I just say power to the people that are willing to work. Power to the people that are going to grind for their clients. And a lot of times it could be ladies, men, women, and minorities, anybody. Like, you have your own power. And EXP is a great example of that. They've been able to open up this field to more people than ever thought that was possible before. And on a worldwide basis, if you didn't have an office in your town or city or whatever for a particular commercial brokerage, now you do. It's a decentralized ability to make money anywhere, anytime, from any place remotely. I mean, that seems to be like a good advocate particularly for today's time, where maybe people don't want to go into the office. They want to be remote. And a lot of times that's what commercial agents are, is remote anyway. So.
Yeah, I love all of that, man. I love having a home base, having a little war room and man cave, but then just being able to take your laptop, or today's day and age, your cell phone. I mean, the fact that we can just do business out of the palm of our hand, literally all around the world, is amazing.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Well, one of the things we talked about today, John, was the ability to get in front of more people using social media. And as Dan said last time, everybody's got one of these, right? Yeah. Everybody's looking at it all the time from anywhere. And maybe they're not in the office looking at a computer screen these days. They're out wherever they are, remote office. Maybe they're out in the field. Maybe they're at a coffee shop. Any of those things, you have the ability to connect with your audience immediately using this and stay in touch with them. So as Shaw was talking earlier about using Facebook in order to build a funnel, in order to target the clients that find the most value. Well, this is a great way to do it. And Dan does a great job of doing that on a day-to-day basis by providing value.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Hey guys, as we wrap up here towards the end, Shaw, do you have any more next level nuggets, as Adam Carswell would call them, or how can people find you, and how can they connect with you, and what are you interested in that we can help you out with as the CRE Pro Course and CRE Pro Course members? Of course, you can get our course at creprocourse.com. It's on sale right now. Go get it, $197. It's not going to last forever, so get on top of it. Shaw, what parting notes can you leave us here from the world of Shaw's time?
So if anyone wants to reach out to me on LinkedIn, Shah Hassan. If you want to email me, Zach, you can send them my personal email as well. I'll be happy to reach out to people.
We will put this in the show notes.
Yeah, I have a slide deck as well for a slide deck that I put together for the last presentation. So if anybody wants access to that, I can send them that as well. It goes into a lot more detail with regards to building your avatar and a lot more detail with regards to actually building very small funnels. So if anyone's interested in that, Zach, just reach out to Zach and I'll send them over.
What can we provide you as CRE Pro Course and Pro Course members? What are you looking for right now, and how can we provide that to you?
You know, I just want to hear once the course is out, what are things that people found valuable, what are things that we can improve upon with regards to social media marketing, and I'd just love to hear the feedback with regards to that. So as you guys move forward, just listen to what people have to say, and let's see if we can help them, grow their brokerage business and add more value.
Great. So if you have more questions about funnel building, or social media interaction, reach out to Shaw, reach out to us, and we'll connect you with Shaw. It is inside the course. The course is available right now. John, what's one next level nugget here as we part? How can we help you as CRE Pro Course and Pro Course members, other than going to creprocourse.com and picking up the course?
Sure. I'd love to learn all things investment sales. So, learning how to approach that deal and be able to add more value than just connecting people, but actually do some high level overview on the front end, so that I'm teeing it up a little bit more eloquently for somebody that might have a buyer or a seller. And also wanted to give a quick plug to our local sales team here in South Florida, Team Guru. We're hiring. We're looking for people to do mostly tenant rep in the industrial sector, potentially other
Perfect.
sectors in the future, potentially other areas of Florida or the country in the future. I can be, reached. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. My email is john.vincent@exprealty.com, and would love to speak to anybody about, if they're looking for what EXP is all about or what Team Guru would be all about. I'd be happy to be the vessel for them to explore those opportunities in detail.
Fantastic. So yeah, absolutely. We'll put your contact information in the sidebar over there. People will be able to contact you directly. And yeah, we're really glad you guys both spent some time with us today. Dan, you have anything here as we say sayonara to our friends
just
at CRE Pro
get
Course?
out there and hustle. There's been no better time to be a commercial real estate broker, a commercial real estate investor, and it's just, as they say, make hay while the sun is shining, and the sun is shining.
Make hay. All right, I like it. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great afternoon. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye.